Yeah.
I like the thing about this sport is looking ahead always. You
Yeah.
always have to be so like you have to be in the now, but at the same time, like you can't worry about it too much
No.
because the harder you work, like you just have to know that you're working harder than the guy you want to beat, and then
Yeah.
eventually Father Time will take over, right? And that's just how
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah. And sometimes just, being not injured. I'm learned a lot about injuries this year because I've hurt myself pretty bad with my brachialis, and it's a
You
big
know,
difference when you're injured and when you're healed too. And I'm learning that. So
yeah. And I think I'm very fortunate because like I'm young enough and I have enough
yeah,
knowledge about injuries. Like I see some of these guys who've been doing it forever and they're just cracked up and creaking, and I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, like you gotta like my dad and I talk about it all the time, but like I train hard, but like the biggest thing is staying injury free
mhm.
because one setback and all of a sudden you're a year back, 2 years back, and like that's a long
It's a
like
long
you can
time.
progress a lot in a year, and when you're just sitting, it takes a toll.
Yeah, yeah. See, I always try to work through my injuries with blood flow. And I try to, if I'm injured in one area, I don't let it hamper other areas. Like I just
Mhm.
focus on, like when my back was hurt, I used to only go outside at one time. It was almost good that it was a blessing I got hurt because now I'm strong inside too, and I can press now, and I got all these
Yeah,
other moves that I used to be just one dimensional. Like I was all hand originally, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So I mean, it's kind of sometimes injuries if you handle it properly, they can benefit you in some ways. It's just on how bad the injury is.
yeah. Well, and like you said too, because like you most of the time you're gonna injure the most like what you use
Hmm.
more predominantly. And so sometimes when you take that lane away, it really helps you discover that there are several other lanes.
Hmm.
But also at the same time, it still sucks because like if you get strong enough with one lane, you don't need the other lanes,
It's
right?
true too.
Yeah.
True too. But I mean, I've had some stylistic matches that I think that if I would have only had outside against Chris, I would have lost. So, like
Yeah.
definitely came
Fair
into
enough.
play, where it benefited me in some of the matches that I've had so far. So,
Yeah, well, yeah, because your press was huge.
oh, that press was, yeah, I felt great that day. I don't think anybody would have stopped my press that day. It was
Yeah,
just,
it was huge. It
yeah.
was sick. I remember that. Yeah. That was the day. That was the
You had an awesome day that day too. So,
oh, I
yeah,
pulled Neil that day, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Did you pull that day, Zach? Yeah, you pulled
Yeah,
Austin, didn't you?
yeah, I pulled left arm with Austin.
Yeah, nice. Dude, once you get that shoulder set, it's game over. It's crazy.
Yeah, I like his press. I can't press like Zach. It's
I'm glad you can't press like Zach.
yeah, yes, hey, yeah. Yeah,
And like, yeah. No, for
yeah.
how light you are, like when you flip into that press, dude, it's like it doesn't feel like the same arm. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Transforms.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
So you guys been training lots still though?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Like really hard. Well, I'm on a routine now, so I gotta like I have to work out today after the podcast. I've been
Oh yeah.
sick, so I'm kind of doing it slow, but I gotta record all of it. So then I send it to Sandries, and then I wait for his critiques, and I get all nervous because I wonder how much I screwed up. Yeah, he
Yeah.
sent me a
Like
he sent me a routine, a new routine, and then I'm like looking at it, I'm like Pilates, planks. I'm like, what? And I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, I know what he's doing. So I sent him a message. I said, this is gonna make me lose weight, man. I'm gonna get in shape. He's like, he sends me like a meme and he's laughing his ass off, and he goes, exactly. So I think he wants me to lose weight. So yeah,
yeah. Well,
no,
no, you know how good he is, right? So just follow whatever he's telling you, and I'm
I'm
sure it'll
doing
be
everything. Yeah, because I figure And like I said, I noticed huge differences, man. Like huge. Like just going
Yeah.
back and doing the regular exercises. Like I was cupping 60 pounds. I went
Mhm.
back and put 70 kg on that fucking thing, and I
Yeah.
cupped it 20 reps. 70
Wow.
kg. Yeah, like 70
Awesome.
kg. That's
Yeah.
only like 3 weeks of like just doing these very specific movements. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? Like proper coaching, specific movements, and all that. Like it
Yeah,
can go a long way.
yeah,
It just really depends for sure.
yeah. Well, I think that's what a lot of people don't realize is what the world champs do to become world champs.
Oh, and that's the thing, right? Is so
Yeah,
they're like a normal person will look at it and be like, "You're insane," but like that's what you have to be. You
that's
have
what
to
you
be
have to do.
insane.
Yeah,
You just have to be. So
yeah.
yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
Devin pulled Camille
I know. I
left-handed.
wanted to bring that up. It's on my list.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I'm actually curious to who won because
Well,
Camille's.
Sanders's video kind of spoiled, like he kind of spoiled things, and then Ingen kind of spoiled it a bit too. So,
Oh, did they? No, I didn't see anything yet.
oh
Like I
yes,
said,
because I watch everything, right?
oh yeah.
So I think Neil might be mad at Ingen. I'm not sure.
Oh, maybe.
He didn't
But
say it. He didn't say it, but he said
what did
something.
he say? Well,
He
you got to
said
tell me
he
now.
he said he said now the match between Ivan and Reno is very deserving. And now because of results, he knows that Reno deserves the championship match with Ivan. And then the reason that's so significant,
Didn't Reno beat Camille?
yes, yes, recently. Yeah. So it just makes you think, what did he mean by that, right? Like maybe it's
Yeah.
something else, but that seems kind of And then Devin's got a Camille dragon tattoo on his finger. He just
Was
gets
that?
posted.
Yeah.
So I mean and not only that, Camille was fresh. He destroyed Cody.
Oh man, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I
I was
know.
like, what?
But the setups were, you know what? I had a little bit of a problem with the setups against Cody because when you start, for one, the way he's starting, you have to make sure he's totally square. If he wants to kick his shoulder back, that's fine. But another thing is when you start with your hand like this, already in a flop position, the ref should have been still straightening the wrist. You can't,
Yeah.
whether it's like this or like that, you still can't start like that.
Right. That's why it's called straight wrist.
That's
Yeah.
right. So like Camille was getting like he was basically just starting in the flop press against Cody. So I was like, well,
Yeah.
that's not really fair. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I want to know how Matt did too. He pulled Kyle Hutchinson. So
Oh, did he?
yeah, Matt had a match.
Okay. See, I
Yeah.
didn't
Was
even
that left
know.
or right?
Left.
Oh,
Okay.
left. I was gonna say righty. I think he'd kill him.
Yeah, that's why left is interesting. So I'm
Yeah,
curious.
I don't know.
But,
He looks
yeah.
strong like that. Kyle Hutchinson just looks strong. He doesn't look like he's an over.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And I think like I know that Kyle Hutchinson pulled it East versus West, but I think it might be kind of like when I was in Toronto with Matt and he pulled Leonidas. Like, and
Mm,
everyone was like, "Oh, Leonidas, oh, left-handed, oh," but then Matt just made him like silly.
really, yeah.
So I'm thinking that might have happened, but it depends, right? It's hard to tell because that's the thing a lot of people like don't understand is like Matt's level is so high that like he went to the East versus West qualifiers in North America and destroyed everybody. Like it wasn't even
Right.
close.
Yeah.
Like, and so it's
That
just
also shows you the level difference between that level and just, your top guys. You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah, because there's like nothing against Matt, but like there's people who are like a level above him,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
right? And so like, and it's just crazy because at the end of the day, like everyone has something to strive for. We all have something to strive for. Matt's busting his ass every day, working in the gym. Like he's doing he's got that machine now. He's doing the same thing. I think
Mm.
that pulling machine's gonna help
Oh,
Matt level up a lot because
huge,
yeah,
huge.
that'll be big for him. I'm
Yeah.
excited to see where he goes with that. So
Mm. Well, see, Matt, I think a lot of it's mental. It's just, you get on a little funk. I mean, it's not like he shouldn't have to prove himself because he has already before. It's just I think right now it's just I don't think it's Matt not being at the level. I think it's some of it's actually in Matt's head. That's
Yeah.
what I
Well,
believe.
and the thing is, like, he keeps proving himself. Like, he
Yeah,
literally
yeah,
lost a few at East versus West. He's like, well, he did the right thing. He's
yeah,
like, I got to work my way back, just like anybody would. But like, he just did it so
yeah,
quick. Like, just
yeah.
boom, smoked
Yeah, and
everybody.
then him against Krasny. Remember that? Like no one's beaten Krasny like that. No one. Like who
No,
have you seen beat Krasny the way Matt beat him?
Yeah.
not many, man. You know what I mean?
No. Like
Recent match with Ron Bath as well.
yeah, because it's a mind. It's not. Sometimes it's a the travel, the jet lag, the mental thing.
I
We all
can't
have
wait.
demons, right? We all have
I can't wait
demons.
till there's an East versus West in the States or North America,
Oh
man.
yeah, like just yeah, watch the difference. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it'd be
I
crazy.
think Engen posted that there's going to be an East versus West 2024.
they've been working on it and talking about it like
Yeah.
nonstop, and he does want
That'll
to do it. So he just
probably
wants.
be after these bunch of qualifiers, hey?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The qualifiers are interesting because they've popped up all over the place now. So, which is good though. It's still good. I just
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't like how close they were either, or the way they were worked out. But the Table
Yeah.
Monkeys one was very considerate. They waited, and then they did it, like April 8th or whatever they said.
Table Monkeys is having one as well now.
Yeah, yeah, in April.
Yeah. I'm so behind after this week of
Yeah,
work, man. Like I feel like I missed 3 days and I have missed
yeah.
like 25 things.
But they kind of did it right. I mean, it was more the Saskatchewan thing. I didn't like the way they did it, just because they could have reached out and talked to me.
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
didn't I didn't quite understand. Like me and Ronald, he could have contacted Ronald, could have contacted me. Instead, like right after we post, they post like 2 weeks different from us. Like, you know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
remember that. It was
I'm just
crazy.
like, yeah, I'm just like, well, why not just talk to us? Because there's no sense. Like, there's a lot of money. See, the thing is, people don't understand either. Venues aren't easy to get. Okay,
No.
to find a venue of that capacity to hold that many people, and because it was just after Christmas, there's still Christmas parties going at these hotels and these venues till like March.
Hmm.
Like there's company Christmas parties they're booked for still. It wasn't easy
Yeah.
to get, and it was a lot of money. So when me and Ronald secured Deerfoot in a casino, I had to put a lot of there's right away. The money that had to come out of my pocket, our
Yeah.
pockets, is crazy, right? So I'm just saying, like this, when you start dealing with money and emissions and stuff, yeah, it's good to communicate for sure, right? Now the thing is I did screw up because I forgot about Battle Zone. Because Perry doesn't have to post Battle Zone. It's the same weekend every year at the same place.
Yeah,
But
but at the same time, like I understand where you're coming from too. Like I get that you feel bad because you forgot it, but like sometimes when events aren't posted like that,
yeah,
it's soon to forget. Well, yeah, and I know it wasn't like 100, like it wasn't 100% this year, right? Because there was
mm,
some outside factors going
yeah,
on, and so at the same time, like you 100% knew that you were having the qualifier,
mm,
and I mean, really, I get it. Like for some people, like a week is what, like,
yeah. It's kind of rough.
but you can manage.
You can, and the thing is too. It was kind of like this. Like they originally wanted to do. Now they've moved it, but originally we were told the main qualifier in Daytona Beach was mid-April. Now I
Yeah.
heard it's going to be the very first week of May. So that's nice. They've moved it, give guys more time. But see, we were kind of on a time crunch because if it was in mid-April, you want to qualify and have time to train for Daytona. So
Well,
like
and
you don't want it so close. Like let's say I did the qualifier and 2 weeks later you had to go to Daytona. Well, come on, like you know what I mean? Like you're
yeah,
basically just gonna have to heal from the qualifier and pray that you're on a level when you get to Daytona, right? Like I figured, give the guys some time, heal, get back in the gym, train up hard, and then go and see what they can do in the States on the main qualifier, right?
yeah. Well, and the other big thing is like let's say you're a big cutter, you're cutting to 187 for the qualifier. You don't want to only have 2 weeks to rehydrate and cut again because that can be hard
Yeah.
on a guy, right? At
Oh,
least
it'd
if you
be
got a few
really,
months, then
yeah,
you can train, get your lifts up a little more, and then
yeah.
kind of go back to where you were.
No,
So
I agree. Like there's a lot of factors in it. And the East versus West, whether we got the bid or someone else did, it was happening around that time anyway, because it's the
That's the
timeline.
thing, right? It's not. It was inevitable that one was coming this way,
Yeah.
and you guys did all the right things and got the opportunity, right? So it's
Yeah.
not like, and I think that's something that's going to be a rude awakening for people around here, is just that the fact that like it's not like it was in 2000. It's not like it was in the 90s, like
Mhm.
where there's one tournament every 4 months.
Exactly.
Like
And we don't want
there's
that
gonna,
either.
no, there's
No.
gonna be a competitive market. It's
Yeah.
the same thing as when I go to the store
Yeah.
and then there's a store across the street and the milk's cheaper at the one store. I'm getting the milk from that store.
Yeah.
You know, I
I
go,
agree.
there's
And you
four
want
gas
that.
stations. This
Yeah.
gas station has the best quality gas at the cheapest price, and they offer the best, reward or
Service,
whatever. I'm gonna
whatever.
go
Yeah.
there. Exactly, right?
But
It
it
yeah.
grows the sport anyway. And it also makes promoters think of, because you know what? Who's these tournaments about? It's about the arm wrestlers. It's about
Yeah.
us, So the thing is, all it's going to do is tell the promoters that, listen, they can shop around now. There is other events, and it's about the arm wrestlers. So what can we do to make it the best for them? All it's going to do is make for competition, which in return makes a better environment for the arm wrestlers, and then it's up to you guys where you want to pull anyway, right?
Yeah. And it's funny you say that, because I guarantee you, like in the last 3 weeks alone, I've seen like changes to tournaments where the cash prize has been upped.
Yep.
At
Yep.
Lethbridge up theirs,
Yep.
Stronghold up theirs.
Yep.
Like it's just gonna keep getting more and more as you can secure more sponsors.
Right.
And the thing is too is it's gonna, like, as people get sponsors and they get more popular and whatnot, like they're gonna grow, but we're gonna see like certain leagues are gonna thin down or turn
Yep.
into nothing again. Like it
Right.
happens just because of, like you said, the quality around it. And
Yep.
I mean, it sucks, like, because like you said, it is for the people, and the more the merrier in the tournaments. I would
Yeah.
agree. But like if one place is doing a bad job or one place isn't meeting the
Gonna show.
standard,
Yep.
then that's just part of the game, right?
I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
it's Mother Nature in a way. It
That,
just
it's survival of the fittest,
that's
just
right.
in this primal form. And we'll go back to the gas station thing. It's the same thing as if there's 5 gas stations and one gas station's $1.45 and the other 3 are $1.10. You're gonna run out of business.
Yeah.
Greed will only
And
get you so
monopolies do
far.
nothing. Monopolies, all they do is tell you, hey, I'll buy these $2 medals. I'll charge them $50, and then that's all. And I'm going to brag about how I make $10,000 off these competitors. It's like those
Yeah.
days are done. Like, you know what I mean? You shouldn't, if you're honestly, the best tournaments are the ones where you're just trying not to lose money, but you want to give the best to competitors. Those are the best run tournaments. Because if you're in it just for money, there's always going to be something negative that pops up. I mean, that's just what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Well, and I was talking to my dad about it too. Like it was just really a thought. We were just kind of chatting about it, and one night,
Yeah.
but I was talking about like it'd be fun to like see if you could find enough referees, get some tables in, and literally just have like an open free tournament
Yeah. Why
once
not?
a year or something. Like Stu would have the perfect place
Yeah.
for that, and you could even do over 200 and under 200, but you could just say show up, sign up. We'll do it. We'll do, because like actually what I've been wanting to do on top of that, I really like how Travis Bajan runs his tournaments.
I like
Um,
it too, actually. Yeah.
like the NCAA March Madness,
Yeah.
like there's little guys and big guys, and there's two sides of the
It's one
bracket.
class, but they set it up until it gets down to the last guys. Yeah, I like it too. I followed it, of course.
I would love for a tournament like that to be here, because I think as much as it's like it's fair and it's fun, because it has the overalls built right in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, let's say Brian weighs in at 205 and I weigh in at 204.6, and Zach weighs in at 203. We're
Yeah.
all in the same class, but Brian and I are probably going to pull, because we're only 0.4 of a
Closest,
pound
yep.
off.
Yep.
Zach's probably going to pull someone close to his weight, but then in the second round, because we're still in the same weight class, the winners are going to still meet up, and it will
Yeah.
thin itself out to a best of that weight class. And then depending on how many categories you did, you'll have 4 or 6 winners.
Yeah, they did
And then
4. They did top 4
which is perfect to me,
yeah.
because then you just have 2 semifinals and a final.
Yeah, and if you looked at the weight at the top 4, it was like the heaviest guy, and it was like the best from each kind of class were the top 4.
Yeah. And then, well, let's say you do a 0 to 150 and a 150 to 200 and a 200 to 240 and then 240 plus.
Yeah.
Even if you did it that way, like you let the 150 champ and the 200 champ pull, and then the 240 and the heavyweight guy, and then eventually you just
300 or
slowly get
whatever.
into
Yeah.
work your way out.
It can work. And you know what? It's a lot of fun. They look like they had a great time. And it still looked like it was
Well,
a well-run tournament, right?
and here's the thing for me: if I win my weight class and then I go and I end up pulling the super heavyweight guy and I lose, I'm not going to feel bad about it. But I'm
Yeah.
going to have fun knowing I got a best 2 out of 3 with this guy. I know the caliber, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're only going to gain from it anyway. See, people forget that we also gain, from these experiences. Like, I don't know, like even like a couple weeks ago when I pulled Byron, or like a month ago, I said no to that match. I was like 65. I was busted. My back was dead. But Mike's
Yeah.
like, it's just for fun, right? And I was like, okay, well, it's just for fun. He's just gonna beat me like he has every other time, right? So I'm like, but I didn't want to lose. I want to beat Byron, right? And I think I
Yeah, of
can,
course.
right? So, but I was like, you know what, whatever. You know what? He beat me, but I mean, we at least had a good war, and I figured out, unfortunately for him, I figured out where to go when I am 100%. So, like even though I looked a little foolish, I lost. I gained more than I'd ever gain if I would have just went somewhere and smacked him. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah, for
now I
sure.
know the path. I know the path. Yeah, I lost ultimately, but now when I'm 100% and I see him in a tournament, I have an idea. You know what I mean? So
Makes it exciting, right?
yeah. So I got more out of that than I did if like against Chris, because against Chris, I mean, it was a good match, but I did kind of dominate, other than the fact I was dying of lack of breath. You know what I mean?
It happens, right?
Yeah. Which I think this weight loss will help,
Oh,
So
100%. It's crazy.
yeah.
Like even my dad was rocking just about 350, and he's down to like he's under 300 now, I'm pretty sure, and
Oh
he like
wow.
it's night and day for him, he says. Like just
Really?
little. Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
lost 10 pounds of this week. So
Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, no, I like hit the peak of my I I I wanted to try like a legitimate bulk where I like get heavier than I've ever been before, and then I slowly cut it
I know
down.
why. I think for the strength.
Well, that's the thing, right? I've never tried it. Like
Mhm.
usually I hit a certain point and then I kind of just let myself plateau. But for like a
Mhm.
good and I was like perfect time to do it. Holiday season, eat as much as I want. Life is good,
Yeah.
right? So I actually hit 210.
Oh, shit.
I hit 210. I was quite surprised about that.
Yeah, well, you
I'm
better
back
watch
down.
because
I'm
it'll
about
get easier as you get older now.
that's the thing, right? I'm down to about 201 now. Started cleaning up my calories and stuff, and I just feel better, right? And then the thing is too is like I'm just going up and down like that. It really helps keep the muscle and whatnot if you do it properly and eat the right foods and keep the protein and carbs. Just
Well, the body remembers strength as well, right? So even,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, you get a little heavier and you get stronger physically. When you cut down, your body holds on to some of that strength. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then if you didn't do it at all, right, and just stayed light.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I see anyway with bodybuilding, powerlifting. I mean, they all use that kind of model, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But anyways, back to the tournament thing quick. I think a
Okay.
free tournament would be for fun, and I think a best 2 of 3, like to move on into a tournament, is a good time. Like I think because there's a lot of times when like you can get caught on elbow fouls or maybe you're not ready on the go or something, and I think a best 2 of 3 really knocks out a lot of that. Yeah, it takes longer to run. I get it and whatnot, but I don't know. You could even do like a preliminary round where like everyone arm wrestles and it's just best of one, and then you take like the top 8 from each class, and then you put them in a bracket and best 2 out of 3 it.
Well, of course.
I think it's fun about that too because, or I think that's fun because it really shows the endurance and recovery in the sport that's needed too.
Yeah.
Because like yeah, the super matches are good, but like sometimes Buddy can blast a guy 4 times, but maybe if that's, a tournament format, like his arm's blown up and he's getting beat by guys not as good as him. So
It happens. I mean,
uh-huh.
it happens. I've had it where just beat somebody in a super match, and then 2 weeks later I pull multiple classes and I
Yeah,
get him in the pro class because I've already pulled masters and had wars, and he
yeah,
gets ranked back after because my arm's dead, right?
yeah,
I had that happen. Yeah, so tournament's a different beast than a super match. Yeah,
yeah. How do you guys feel about that? About the Alberta rankings being you only have to beat someone in a tournament to move
I don't
rankings?
like it myself.
Yeah,
I think
I've
we
been
should have
thinking.
separate rankings. I think we should have if we're not gonna do it right, we should at least have separate rankings. I mean,
Yeah, because it'd
yeah,
be like, I don't know, tournament champ. Like, yeah, you've beat everybody in a tournament, but I don't know. Like, I think the purest form is like only being able to move up and down
and
depending on
challenging.
super matches and
Yeah.
challenges. It's just sometimes like I see where they're coming from. See, here's the thing for me though, is like Jason and them already have a lot on their plate. I think it would be beneficial for them to just do
Take
this
some off their
challenge
plate.
only. Yeah, it takes a lot off the plate instead of every tournament having to look back. Okay, this guy beat this guy. We moved this rank. This
Hmm.
it's on. Well,
And then
no,
promote super matches because we don't have
exactly.
enough of them. Yeah,
No, and that's why I was happy when Travis Robertson had that tournament in Lloyd that he invited me out to.
he did really good with that. Yeah.
Let me tell you, man, probably one of the best tournament. Like it wasn't even a tournament; it was a super match event. It was probably
Yeah.
one of the best events I've ever been to.
Mm.
Everybody got a little something, win or lose. You got co-op card, some goodies, a brew house card, and then if you won, you got $100 Amazon card and a medal on top of it, or a trophy on top of it. Um,
Yeah, I need to
just,
get
and
him. I need to get him doing the sponsor routine for my my events because he did pretty
dude,
damn good.
he's
Yeah,
he's a good guy and he knows
yeah,
everybody and
yeah.
he's good to everybody. And you
He's
know
an
what?
insurance agent or something. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and there was 2 referees there. Well, not even like 2 people refereed, Mark Harrison and Josh, and then I helped when they had matches. And that tournament was smooth. Like it did not take long. That was what was really eye opening to me. Is like they were all best of 3. They were all best of 3, and I think they ran 16 super matches. So like you could even do 2 tables if you wanted to. I know it kind of takes away from the whole super match thing when there's 2 super matches going on, but you could have 20 matches and
hmm
run it like start it at 10 and you'll be done. You'll be like cleaned up and out of there by like 6 o'clock.
Oh. But so he did 16 super matches and a tournament.
No tournament. Just
Oh, okay,
that's why I liked it. It
okay,
was fast and it was just super matches. It
okay.
was a super match only event, and everyone who got invited to compete got a little something, whether it was your co-op card or your brewhouse card, and then the winners got an added incentive on top of it. And
That's
yeah,
cool.
it was in the brewhouse in Lloyd, and yeah, it was just and the cool thing was is it was like during the day, like for the brewhouse in Lloyd, and like people were cheering, people were up watching, everyone was going
So
crazy.
how did they work the entries then? Because I didn't know that's how I didn't know was it supposed to be a tournament originally and they changed it?
I don't know if it was originally or not, but there was no like entries or nothing. Like he just pretty much texted people like competitors that he knew. So it'd be like if I messaged you was like, "Hey Brian, you want to match against Byron on this day at the brew house? We're having a
Yeah,
super
yeah.
match card." And then he just kind of set it up and then he pulled Mark Harrison as the main event, and then there's a bunch of other ones. I like going to Lloyd too because it's a nice place where like Saskatchewan meets Alberta and like
Yeah,
I'm more willing to drive 2 hours to Lloyd and have someone meet in the middle at 2 hours than me have to drive 5.5 to Saskatoon or something, right?
yeah.
So,
Oh
but
no,
no,
that's cool.
I think we'll see that more as, like you said, this market in Alberta progresses. I think we're going to see a lot of
New
different
things.
types of tournaments.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be a super match event, and then there's going to be a tournament, and then there's going to be a different ran type of tournament, and then there's going to be like ranking matches, just everything. So.